It is me, Silver, and today I am finally finishing the class trial that I literally just started 25 minutes ago, and I said I'd do it in about half an hour. I called that perfect. That's true, it's definitely bugging me. What really?
Fine. I have no problem with that. Let us continue the debate. It won't change the facts of the case regardless.
Yes, it will not. Oh, I forgot I have it turned off. We need to determine what ultimately killed the victim. I need to concentrate. Hangman's Gambit? I'll make your argument.
Then, shall we continue the debate?
Yes.
The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined, correct?
The explosion didn't kill her for sure. I guess.
Well, yeah. She was already totally dead when that happened.
And it wasn't because of the knife, right? Shoot!
Then shall we continue that the victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined, correct?
Nope. That's the end of that.
Shoot!
Failed. Nobody believes me. Nobody wants to hear what I have to say. Uh-oh. Have we already come to the end of the debate? Well then, the class trial is officially adjourned. Now it's time to reveal who's the black one. Oh, I messed that one up. It would appear that the one with the most votes is Mikado. Mikado is not the black one. Too bad. Looks like the real killer gets to graduate. Congratulations to them. On the other hand, everyone else must not be punished.
Is this really?
Do another shot.
I refuse to give up yet!
Yeah, I think I'm gonna redo that. How you doing? Okay. Oh, that's fine. Don't lick me during stream. At least the fucking camera's not on. That's a good thing.
Then shall we continue the debate?
I wish you would.
The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined.
The explosion didn't kill.
Well, yeah. She was.
And it wasn't. Then there's.
Oh, yeah. That's gotta be it. There was evidence that showed she was hit on the back of her head.
And more than that, the victim had suffered countless wounds across her entire body. Then shall we continue the victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined, correct?
Shoot! Which one was it?
Then shall we continue the victim's fatal...
The explosion didn't kill her for sure.
Well, yeah. She was already...
And it wasn't... Then...
Oh, yeah. That's gotta be it. There was evidence that showed she was hit on the back of her head.
Shoot! Then shall we continue... The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined, correct?
Shoot!
Then shall we continue... The victim's fatal...
The explosion didn't kill her for sure. I guess.
Oh, I'm gonna get this one so messed up.
Shoot! Then shall we continue... The victim's fatal injury has yet... to be determined.
The explosion didn't kill her for sure.
Well, yeah.
And it wasn't... Then...
Oh, yeah. That's gotta be it. There was evidence that showed she was hit on the back of her head.
And more than that, the victim had suffered countless wounds across her entire... Then shall we continue the victim's fatal injury has...
No, that's wrong! Mukuro died because of the blow to the back of the head she suffered.
What about the wounds all over the rest of her body? They didn't have anything to do with it?
The Monokuma file makes it clear that those weren't fresh wounds.
Oh yeah, good point. If they were old, I guess they don't really matter.
Okay, then we're safe in assuming the blow to the back of her head is what killed her.
But then, what was the murder weapon?
The Monokuma file says she was hit with a blunt object, about as thick as a metal pipe.
Oh, I bet it was the pickaxe!
How is that even possible? If you hit someone with that, it'd cave their skull in completely.
Well, maybe they held it the other way and hit her with the handle.
No way! The balance would be all off. You wouldn't be able to swing it with any kind of pop. I wouldn't mind testing it on you if you want.
No thanks. I bet you just hit me with the metal end and call it an accident.
I'd love to scoop out that nasty brain of yours, throw it on the ground and spit on it.
God, this chick is...
I feel the same way! Looks like we're on the same page this time.
Seriously?
We want to figure out what killed her, right? It just so happens we already know.
We already know? I knew we could count on you, Master.
So what was it?
Go ahead and tell them, Makoto. Surely you've deduced the real murder weapon?
I got it! Mukuro was hit in the back of the head with something. And that's what killed her. And that something was the titanium arrow we found in the locker in the dojo.
Arrow. That's what the culprit attacked Mukuro with?
Indeed. There's no doubt about it.
Are you sure? That sounds kinda weird.
Hey! How dare you backtalk, Master! You have no right!
I'm not back-talking anything. I'm just saying what I think.
Don't blame him for that. Because there's one more thing about that weapon. One more thing. God, this is gonna be a long...
The titanium arrow. It was in the dojo locker, right? I have no doubt that was the murder weapon.
Are you sure?
You don't sound convinced. What's the problem?
Well, 'cause in the Monokuma file, it said the weapon must have been about as thick as a metal pipe, right? It seems like an arrow would just be too thin.
Talking back to Master! You have no right!
Okay, hold on.
The titanium, it was in the dojo. I have no doubt.
Are you sure?
You don't sound
Well, it said the weapon must... It seems like an arrow would just be too thin.
Talking back to... You have no right!
The titanium, it was in the dojo. I have no doubt.
Are you sure?
You don't sound
Well, it said the weapon must have been about... It seems like an arrow would just be too thin.
No, that's wrong! You're right. Just the one arrow would have been too weak. That's why the killer used another weapon.
Duct tape.
Another weapon?
Inside the dojo locker, we also found a balled-up wad of duct tape. The killer probably used this duct tape to bind multiple arrows together. Bundling them together using the duct tape would easily create a single weapon as thick as a pipe. And that's exactly what the killer did.
It's similar to Aesop's fable about the bundle of sticks. One stick is weak, but put them together, and they become strong. It's meant to teach cooperation.
Damn, that's harsh.
How is it harsh? Were you even listening?
Anyway, that explains the murder weapon. As for who the culprit is that stashed the weapon in the dojo locker, it was you, Kyoko.
I've never been to the dojo.
Oh no, you absolutely have.
How can you say that with such confidence?
Because we have proof, of course. Don't we, Makoto? What? Surely you don't intend to protect a murderer. You know what will happen if you do, don't you? If you cover for the culprit, there's only one thing that can lead to the death of us all. Remember?
Of course I remember.
Then show us. Show everyone the evidence that proves Kyoko went to the dojo.
I got it! The one thing that proves Kyoko was in the dojo is right here. The key to the dojo locker.
And how does that prove anything?
Because I found it in your room.
It was in my room?
Don't bother trying to play dumb. That key is just the final piece of the puzzle. Your non-existent alibi, your clear motive, your attempts to frame Makoto for the... This all proves that you are the true culprit. You can't explain this away, so just give up.
Hold on a second.
Not this again. You really are dead set on defending her, aren't you?
No, it's not that I want to defend her. It's just there's one more thing I need to ask her. Kyoko, I want you to tell me something. Last night, you were in my room, weren't you? Why? What were you doing there? That's what I need to know.
I was just protecting you.
What?
She was protecting me? Then does that mean she knew I was being... And she came to my rescue. Could that be one? Which would mean that she killed someone.
That's enough. The time for idle chatter is over.
Wait. I'm warning you. Don't make this mistake. I'm not the killer.
I knew you were stubborn, but this is just getting ridiculous.
Really? But you should know better than anyone I didn't do it. Can you tell me I'm wrong?
I should know.
What? Kyoko should know better than me. What does that mean? A room key. She had her room key.
Those words you just spoke. What do you mean?
Exactly what I said. I'm not the killer. You should understand that more than anyone here.
Byakuya, what are you...
Master would never.
There's proof that you aren't the culprit.
Is that what you're saying?
You stated
You said I hid the evidence of my crime in the dojo and then left the locker key in my own room, correct? But could I really have done that?
Those words you just spoke.
Exactly. I'm not the killer. You should understand.
Byakuya!
Master would never.
There's proof that you aren't the culprit.
No, that's wrong!
Catch on.
If I'm right, Kyoko wouldn't have been able to get into her room.
Huh? Why not?
Because she had given her room key to Byakuya.
I see. So that's what you meant. And if I had the key to your room...
Then obviously I had no way of getting in. Without my room key, I couldn't have possibly put the locker key in there myself. Am I wrong?
It would appear not.
Then you're finally starting to understand.
No, that's not actually true. There's a clear contradiction in what Kyoko just told us. An obvious lie. This isn't like her. Try and save herself was such a desperate lie. She really feels that, right? Because she's the killer. Or is it something else? Was there a deeper meaning hidden in what Kyoko said earlier? You vote for me and I die here. The mystery of the school. This is why I can't let that. This is a trap the mastermind is setting. The mastermind's trap. The mastermind is trying to trap Kyoko. But what if that's not really true? What can I do? What should I do? What should I? The mastermind's trap. The victim was Mukuro, and Kyoko killed her. What does Kyoko really know? What am I supposed to do? Kyoko's lie. I'm the only one who knows it's a lie. I'm the only one who can expose it. But who can I trust? What am I supposed to do? The master. If you spend all your time trying to avoid danger, you'll never move forward. We know the danger, but if that risk means solving the mystery, we have no choice. Am I right? So right here and now. I've made my decision. I have to. There's no way she would kill someone. There has to be some secret or something that has to do with the mastermind's trap.
Well, does no one have a rebuttal? Have you decided to accept her assertion as fact? I see. So you still refuse to accept it. I suppose we have to admit that Kyoko didn't put the locker key in her room. That it was someone else.
But who else could it have been?
I mean, Byakuya had a room key, right?
You! What are you trying to imply?
But of course I have an alibi. From nighttime on, I was with you guys the entire time. I couldn't possibly have killed anyone, or put the key in Kyoko's room.
Well, someone had to put the key in there.
There's only one other possibility I can think of. Someone could have had the key on them, then once they arrived at the scene, pretended to find it there.
What?
It had to be Makoto, right?
I don't see any other option.
Wait a second. You've got it all wrong. Let's think about it one more time. There's gotta be a hidden side to this case.
Huh? A hidden side?
First of all, there's something off about this entire trial. You all see it, don't you? Mukuro, who we didn't even know existed, suddenly shows up dead. And then we're thrown into a trial. And Kyoko even said, it's a trap the mastermind set for us. So that's why... this has to be...
Okay, time's up!
Huh?
Time's up! Class trial's all over! Everyone can stop talking now!
What? Time's up?
What do you mean time's up? There's no time's up. Since when have we...
It's because you were late! So we had to push back the start time! So then, it's time for voting time, okay? Everyone, please vote using the lever in front of you!
Voting time?
Hey, that's something.
Now, who will be chosen as the Blackened? Will you make the right choice or the dreadfully wrong one?
Hey, hold on!
What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?
Sorry.
Got it all wrong. I
Yes, indeed. Yep.
I got it right. No, none of this makes any sense. This whole trial doesn't.
Hey!
It makes perfect.
Shing!
It's the same as always. It's just like all the other trials.
Thrills, chills, kills!
Time for the heart-pounding positivity thrill. Wait, why are you on?
I don't expect you to forgive me. I know this is all my fault.
Let's give it everything we've got! It's punishment time!
Why is it when you fail it, it's still like, oh, that sucks. I thought I could just fail it or something and be found guilty anyways. And it worked. Shit. Oh god. I don't even like that. It's gotta suck. I don't want that happening. Oh, holy baby. That gives me anxiety. Come on, Michaela. Really does need to be tough. Okay, okay. At least it's something to look at. Hey, it's alter ego. Well, I think that's chapter 5 done over.
What?
What's going on? that?
This is...
Alter ego. Is this some stupid virus from that stupid planted it when he invaded my network? Damn it all to hell. I don't believe
It would seem...
Seems you finally made a miscalculation. No, you miscalculated from the very beginning.
What the heck?
What was that?
In other words...
What I'm saying is you shouldn't underestimate.
Hmm.
Why are you talking like Brody one? I barely got the time. Turns up the pinch. Hit it. Sleeper virus is gone. Got it? So, maybe I didn't get to smash it flat, but you're never going to see it. Placed away in a garbage-strewn pit in a way that's an even better special punishment. But it's still not enough. I'm still not satisfied. I'm still going to bring despair to the rest of you. Bring despair to the entire God, I love Monica. Gone? Hey Kyoko, what's the meaning of all this? Just what the hell is going on?
Calm down.
It's okay, we're not the ones being trapped.
In other words...
Now it's the mastermind that's ensnared.
What did you say?
What are you talking about?
So...
You'll understand soon enough. Very soon indeed. The massive high school towers over all the other buildings in this bustling urban area. It's like the school stands at the center of the entire world. Hope's Peak Academy. It brings in top students from every field imaginable. A government-funded school of privilege. They say that if you come here and manage to graduate, you'll be set for life. Hundreds of years of tradition and sends the cream of the crop of the workforce every year. It was built to raise hope in the nation's future, which makes Hope's Peak a pretty fitting name. There are two things you need to attend this school. One, you have to already be attending high school. Two, you have to be at the very best at what you do. No ordinary student can enroll in here. The only way in is if you're scouted by the school itself. And standing there at the gate of the ultimate school filled with the ultimate students was me, Makoto Naegi. Wait, did it start over again? What? Where am I? I woke up with my head resting on top of a hardwood desk. Okay. Oh, okay. I was like, what? Finally. I could finally feel my mind and body start to come back together again, and then I was awake. Or was this just another dream? A dream inside a hopeless nightmare? No, this isn't a dream. I could tell because the stench invading my nostrils was too powerful for a dream. What an awful smell. I was in a vast dark cavern with the barest hint of light seeping in. Trash was piled high all across the area. This must be some kind of underground garbage pit. A heck of a situation to find myself in, but that was just the beginning of my problems. Was I going to be stuck in here till I waste away and die? No, I can't let that happen. Not after what my good friend went through to save me. I remembered all too well. Alter ego saved me, and he used up the last little bit of his strength to do it. So I can't give up now. No, for myself and for my friend. And with that, my pursuit of survival began. First up was to start looking for a way out of here. No matter how many times I pushed or pulled or kicked at it, it wouldn't budge. Getting out of here isn't going to be that easy. Well, if I'm not getting out of here anytime soon, I'd salad around for some food. There's plenty of food here, but it's all rotten. But that was pointless too. Good shot. Next, I search for some water. How can I be sure which liquids I can drink and which ones are all around? Bad idea. Again, pointless. I feel like I'm blocked in on all sides, but that's still not enough reason to give up. Because I'm still, as long as I'm alive, I'll never give up. Making that proud declaration, the next thing I decided to do was off myself. I'll go to sleep. My sleep was deep and uninterrupted. That was my only way to preserve what little strength I had left after not being able to eat or drink. I can't be sure, but I think at least a full day had to have passed. And all I did was sleep and sleep. It was like I was waiting for some kind of sign to come falling out of the sky. However, What fell from the sky wasn't a sign. Not exactly. What the strange sound pierced my silent isolation, jarring me awake. As I watched the pile of garbage jostle and form into my shape, did something fall down over? Something fell up from above. What could it have been? Garbage. Giant piece of trash fall down here. I carefully stretched my hand out towards whatever it was that had tumbled in here with me.
Just a second.
A giant piece of trash. Rude. Before she even emerged from the pile of garbage, I knew who it was. God damn it,
It
Kyoko.
smells awful.
Kyoko,
Indeed.
you look like you're doing better than I expected. What are you doing here?
So,
Is it obvious? I'm here to help you. I'm glad to hear that, Kyoko. You've got a bit of garbage. She gave her head a quick, sharp shake to get rid of the trash, then faced me.
hey,
First, I have something for you. Go ahead and eat it. We can talk once you're finished. Thank you. I snatched the bread and water that she was holding out for me. Within seconds, it was in my mouth and making its way towards my stomach. That really hit the spot. Now I've got all the energy I need to keep going. So you still haven't given up, then? Of course not. After all, the fact that I can keep going forward is about all I'm good at. Well, that's not such a bad thing to be good at. Joe, give me something. How'd you come
so,
to pay a debt? Or no, to atone?
you,
During the trial, even though you knew I was lying, you didn't say anything. So you knew that.
indeed.
But even though I knew, I did nothing to help you. I abandoned you. Don't say that. You didn't abandon me. No, that's exactly what I did. I abandoned you in order to save my own life. You were trying to save me, and I couldn't bring myself to do the same for you.
However,
But listen, not that I'm trying to make excuses, but there was a reason I had to.
it's true.
I'll tell you everything. The reason I have to.
In other words,
is that I can do what I came to this school to do. But I made up my mind to come to Hope's Peak Academy for one day. So you have some reason to come to
Indeed.
Hope's Peak? That's right, at least I did once.
I...
Until recently, I forgot. You forgot that I had no memory of what no memory. That's amnesia. Then, is it really true you lost your
Makoto.
Do you remember Makoto? Do you remember the first thing that happened to each of us as soon as we arrived at the school? First thing. You're talking about when we fainted, right? I fainted when I woke up.
That's right.
I fainted too, and when I woke up, I noticed a strange feeling of separation within myself, a disconnect.
It would seem...
Thinking back on it now, at that point my memory was gone. At that time I'd forgotten. I couldn't remember why I'd come to this school, and I couldn't remember what my ultimate ability was. But what would make you forget all that? Strange, isn't it? It's hard to imagine it happening by chance. It seems much too convenient. Are you saying you think you lost your memory because...
Indeed.
I don't think. I'm positive it was the work of the mastermind. They stole my memory. But why would they want to do that? There's only one reason I can come up with. Because of my purpose and my ability. Somehow they would interfere with the mastermind's plans. So the mastermind just stole them from me?
However...
And I could also... It could also mean somehow my memories may have been connected to the mystery of the school and the mastermind. Which is why I have to get them back. That's why I've been investigating things by myself this whole time. But if what you say is true, why didn't you ask the rest of us to help?
Why is that?
If I did that and we all worked as one, the mastermind would have noticed that. Plus, there's always the chance that the mastermind is actually one of us.
Correct.
Don't make too big of a deal of it. It's just a possibility. But since it is a possibility, we can't ignore it, right? Mastermind, one of us. If she believed that, then of course she couldn't trust us any longer. In which case, it only makes sense that she would look into her missing memory by her.
However...
That being said, there was a limit to what I could do by myself, which is why I asked you to help me. Because among everyone, you were least likely to be the mastermind. That was just my intuition, right? Your intuition was right. There's no way an ordinary kid like me could have been the mastermind.
I understand. I should understand everything. My goal isn't to get out of here. It's to stay here.
It's just like the dream I had. Why is that?
Listen.
Are you okay? No. Oh yeah, it's nothing. It is nothing, right?
Hey.
Even now, I still trust you. It's just,
Correct.
I know I never asked you for help the right way, so I understand if you're not convinced. Honestly, I was convinced. I think that's just her personality. You said you had a reason for doing all that investigating on your own. So how'd that turn out? Were you able to remember?
So...
I think there's still a lot I don't remember, but at the very least, I was finally able to call my ability. What everyone should have known. I'm the ultimate detective. The ultimate detective.
Correct.
No shit. The reason I came to Hope Speed Academy was school. You had to find someone?
So...
It was the headmaster of Hope Speed. The headmaster? Why'd you want to find the headmaster? Because he's my father.
In other words...
I was separated from him as a child. As it turns out, he became the headmaster of Hope's Peak. Kyoto is Hope's Peak's headmaster? Then that explains when Alter Ego told us he thought the headmaster was I'll find a way.
Huh?
No matter what it takes, I'll find the headmaster.
No matter what?
No matter what the cost.
So,
Kyoko, what's going on? My memory hadn't come back at that point. When he said that, I felt strange. It makes perfect sense now, of course, since my whole purpose for coming here was to find him.
However...
Well, listen, Makoto, I want to make this perfectly clear so that there's no misunderstanding. I said the headmaster wasn't the mastermind, but I didn't say that to protect him. I only said what I felt based on what I'd seen when I snuck into the headmaster's room. Then what did you see?
So...
The room had been ransacked, the shelves were a mess, the desk drawers dumped on the floor. The only conclusion is that someone who didn't know where anything had been in there. You mean the mastermind?
It's true.
That was my assumption, yes. And to confirm my suspicion, I decided to investigate the second floor of the dorms using the key I found. But why there? Because I also found this in the headmaster's room. This is some kind
Indeed.
It's a layout of the entirety of Hope's Peak Academy. I found it in the headmaster's room, along with Mukuro's profile on that key. The map showed that the second floor was home to a number of rooms meant for faculty use. Some of the staff must have had to stay overnight from time to time. I figured the headmaster would have some kind of private room there. I assumed that if that were true, the room would likely hold more clues.
Correct.
That's when I found the room. I remember that my purpose was to find the owner of that room. So you went there to see if the headmaster really did have a private room.
However...
But once I got there, I noticed that on the second floor the dorms didn't have any cameras. So what was it like, that part of the school? It's hard to describe. All I can say is the moment I saw it, whatever's going on in the school is more horrific than we ever imagined.
So...
I can't explain it. You need to see it for yourself, and I'm sure you'll get your chance soon enough. It sounds like it must be important, and really awesome.
However...
Which is why I had no idea what was going on. It had to do with Mukuro.
However...
Just be perfectly clear, I didn't kill her, and I know it wasn't you either. I know you're right, but that just means everyone but you and me had an alibi. So then who did?
Anyway...
What I can say for sure is that the mastermind is directly involved. To begin with, the point of the class trial of Mukuro Ikusaba was to get me killed.
Indeed.
I stole that key and disappeared, and in retaliation they wanted to draw me out and eliminate me.
Correct.
That was the point of the class trial. It was. The mastermind knew they couldn't interfere directly. I mean, because the school regulations.
That's right.
Exactly. With minimal restrictions, you are free to explore Hope's Peak Academy at your discretion.
In other words...
The mastermind is adamant about following the rules, and with that rule in place, they couldn't step in. Since they couldn't kill me themselves, they tried to use the class trial to do so. The mastermind couldn't step in because of the rules. That makes it sound like the mastermind themselves somehow bound by the school regulations.
Hey.
There's one other thing I'd like to point out about the murder of Mukuro Ikusaba. What's that? There was a point where Mukuro may not have become the victim. Could have been you. I could have been.
Indeed.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
I
can hear the footsteps of the god of death. I can hear the god of death as he moves. ability naturally draws me into cases just like
Anyway,
this, which is exactly what happened with you. I was in the dorms, and I had a sudden sense of dread. I looked down the stairwell, and I saw a white shadow cross the corridor. I gave chase right away. As I followed it, I saw a shadow go.
correct.
I ran into the room and saw what was happening. I intervened immediately.
However,
That wasn't the end of things, of course. I stopped them, but it led to whoever the masked assailant was, they ended up dead.
correct.
And their mirror was disguised, and the dojo key wound up in the mirror. It all has to be the work of the mastermind, and an attempt to use the class trial to So all this would mean that whoever killed Negro is also the mastermind.
Indeed.
I don't have conclusive evidence, but that's what I think. But that's really bad. If true, it means the mastermind can kill whoever they are if they kill you. Right? But doesn't that create another contradiction? The mastermind wanted to use the class trial to try and kill you because they couldn't interfere, right?
Correct.
You're right, that is a contradiction. And it's not just Negro. They needed the class trial to kill me. They seemed ready to kill you in the room. Everything they did is a contradiction. So what does it all mean?
In other words,
It means that the mastermind is the one who's been cornered.
Makoto.
Just a little more, and I should be able to figure out the mastermind's identity. The identity of the other ultimate despair. Another ultimate despair? No doubt that we broke the ultimate despair when she's dead. But I don't think the ultimate despair is just one person.
Indeed.
Think about the ultimate despair seems to implicate whoever caused it.
That's right.
But half the year, the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. The tragedy, who's ever responsible, they're the ultimate.
It would seem
That despicable group whose only purpose and motivation comes from despair.
indeed.
And say, they're the root of all the evil that has forced us to go through this. That is the ultimate despair. And that is our real enemy. The end. 5. Over. Still 6 of us. To be continued. Yep. To be continued in the next episode. Yes, I do. And that is where I'm ending this. So, see you guys in the next one.